Yeah. So far we've learned Rust together, right? But I figure that it will even be better if you go through another course. There's a 4-hour course from Ciphering Updraft. It's a wonderful website. You if you're in the Web3 space, you want to learn different languages, different platform, this is the right place to go. But unfortunately, they don't really go. They don't teach how to build on Stellar, but they have a Rust programming course. It's only 4 hours that you can go through. So this one is just going to just solidify what you learned, and also it's also going to be a different way of teaching. So you're going to learn a lot of things that we learned together, but it will make more sense to you when you're going through this video, this specific video, because it's going to be like reinforcement learning, and it will help you. So it's only 4 hours. So I'm guessing that 4 hours can take you 12 hours because there's going to be, you're not only watching videos, you also there's also a lot of exercises. Like every 15 minutes of videos, you have an exercise, a very simple exercise, and you can actually download their files from GitHub, and then they have like a lot of exercise on that GitHub file that you can you just have to complete missing code as you go along with the lessons. So this is a very nice course. So my challenge is, if you're free, or maybe just working, but maybe this weekend you just do 2 hours. You just complete up until 2 hours, and then the next weekend you complete the other 2 hours. So this is going to just solidify Rust in your head. So I hope you're up for this challenge. Just 2 hours this weekend. Just do these 2 hours, and then the next weekend you do another 2 hours. So those 2 hours can probably take you like maybe 6 maximum. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're free during the weekend, go through that. It's going to help a lot. And okay, now there's another thing I want to talk about. For okay, yes, can ask.
Yes, I was just wondering, like I was messing around with Git, and I didn't want to like uploading files and like just like playing around with stuff. What is like the current standard with uploading a Rust folder? Because Rust is doing all this stuff in the back end where they're basically creating the source files, which is the only thing you need, but then it has all the cargo files. Like, so are you supposed to have the cargo files and everything in that that folder, so when the next developer finds it, they can use it? Or do you only upload the source files and let them init it on their own? Or what's the standard thing with Rust?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. I've never thought of that. I'm not gonna lie, because
because it seems like it gives away a lot about your PC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So someone would actually understand a lot of the security infrastructure that you have, what operating system you're running, like all this like detailed stuff about your system that's not just online, you know?
Yeah. You don't. I don't think. Let me just think a little bit. Because when you look at this cargo file, for example, here it just shows you that this just specifies to your, what you call it, your compiler of this specifies that you're going to have many contracts in one folder, and this one is dependencies that you're using. So I'm supposed to use 23 now. This is 22. I think this is an old file an old program, and I just want to check what kind of info they have here. So here it doesn't look like there's any. No.
This is when you forget. So if you upload it to GitHub, it's basically going to take all of those files.
Yeah.
Like if you just put dot, you know what I mean? You have to actually scroll down to the right directory and then change it up and stuff.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So it does that. So you need to like specify which one you don't want.
Yeah. Because
Right.
also the other thing is like I was like fighting with Git today. That was fun. But like with the dots and creating folders, because you can't exactly create another folder in your source folder because it expects to find the documents in your source folder. So when you upload, you have to like to create another folder to place it in a folder. It became complicated because what I wanted to do was I wanted to have folders that were for each lesson, but you can't exactly do that. You know what I mean? You have to create a new repository for each lesson, basically.
Yeah.
If you want the code to be like taken from, because you can just copy paste it, but like that's not what I wanted to do.
That's some that goes beyond. It's counterproductive. So hey, I'm gonna have to make some research on that.
Okay, cool.
I never thought of that, but it's a very good question. It's a very, very good question, because you need to know. You need to be safe at the end of the day when you deploy to GitHub. And another thing down to mention was, okay, now we're going back to the smart contract. Does anyone have some confusion when it comes to the code that we did last week? Last week was the first introduction to smart contract, to coding smart contract. Is there anyone who had trouble, like the assignment that I gave you?
So there was one question, like me and Rudy were chatting about it. Why is the environment variable mentioned twice in one of the lines? Was it on the code we did last week? It was environment.
Yeah, let me see. I think it's. Oh, no, it's not.
Gotcha.
We go to GitHub. This is the hello world. Let's go back. That's not this one. That's the hello world, right? Was the hello world project?
So it was something we did actually in class. It was like environment. I'm not seeing it in the code that we did, but it was that two part where you were saying the environment for two and then the environment for hello.
I think I got it. Oh my.
So it was the hello world one.
Yeah, I guess another hello world that I had, that I created myself. So what I was doing is.
So here, I'll share it with you in chat. So this was the line of code. So it was vector and environment, string from, string, and then environment hello. And I was basically saying that it needs to call these from separate environments. And that's why it's doing it, because they're in different folders, maybe. I don't know, different files.
Environment string from string. So I was getting the hello from the environment. And the vector itself has has also environment, but when you're calling a vector, the vector itself is in the environment. Does it make sense? The vector. It's like when you're calling a function, like
Yes, I was thinking more like objects. Like, so it's an object, so it's like this in JavaScript or something like that.
so a vector of a string. So this was this is a vector of two. There's two strings in this vector. So there's a key, and then there's a value. So the value is the 2, and the string is the hello. Okay, you know what? Let me just look at the code. Let's work at it together. So I think it's here. CDA. No, it's not here. Well, let's just go to the hello world. Sorry. Let's go to Stella Docs. Come on, load. Yeah, just wait a little bit for it to load. Okay, there it is. Oh my goodness. The laptop has been tripping lately. So this, I think this is an unknowing way of the way you write the project when we're using Rust. I mean, when you're using Soroban. Like when you want to create a function, you have to specify first the environment, because this is the blockchain environment that we are in, and then there's a string. And it's the same with it's the same with a vector. So you have to specify that you are the environment, the vector is in the environment, and then you have a string, and then the hello also is in the environment, is also in the environment. So I wanna try something. Let's remove environment and see what's gonna happen. Okay, let's test it out. So, but where's my hello world? So let me just go. Oh, let me just create a new. Let's create a new project. Let me close this. No, I don't even have to start a new one. I already have one here. All right, let me just. Oh, it's here. How stupid of me. So yeah, so the project here already. There's test. Let's see. Okay. No, man, I don't want to do this one. Oh my goodness. So let me just do this. In the meantime, let me show you something else in the meantime while it's doing the compiling. So here, something that you have to note is the macros. So Soroban macros are special functions that help you write smart contracts more easily. So you think of them as shortcuts that generate code for you automatically. To read more about that, you can click here. So this is the documentation for everything Soroban. So here it is where you find all the documentation, and can read about modules, structs, all the struct types. There's like address, bytes, and string, and all that. For example, let's go to address. So this is the identifier of contracts or the users. So you can go here like vectors. You can also learn about vectors and so on and so forth. And yeah, you can see when you call vector, you also have to specify the environment, just like in the hello world. So here is just a short version of understanding macros. There is, let me see, like what I want to show you. Okay, there's the attribute macros like contract. So contract marks the main contract. There's contract implementation that you put on top to show the implementation of your contract. And there's this one as well to generate client code, contract type. So there's all this that you might not use now. So macros are just like functions to create data or perform action. Function like macros. These are the one with what you call the periods. And for core Soroban type, data type, these are core. Let me show you here. These are the core data types. The one I showed is bytes, there is I256. There is the U256. So they can, it's an unsigned integer. Yeah, let's go back here. Yeah. So beside, just hold on. Beside Mukhtar, has everybody, is everyone sorted with the environment, setting up the environment? Is everyone sorted? Like you can actually code, you're using VS Code on your laptop, you have no issues. Okay, only one thing, one thumbs up. What about Mohammed, of course? Regina? Okay. So you sorted. And the rest assignment, did everyone finish? That last Rust assignment. Yes. Okay. So if you need assistance, like this week, throughout this week, except on Thursday. So basically Monday. So it's like Wednesday. So except Thursday, I will be available for anybody. Like if you have trouble, anything, we can even code together. We can even go through the code together. So just hit me up and I can make time for you on Wednesday or on Saturday as well. Saturday too. Oh, Rudolph, you done? Oh, that's. And send me the test message because you know what? Are you in the Telegram group, Rudolph? Okay. Or you can send me on WhatsApp because I've seen you. I've seen you on WhatsApp. Okay. Just send it to me. Send me the link on WhatsApp. The output from the just the code itself. That's the code. I just want to review. Just want to review the code. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rudolph. Okay, so let's remove environment and see what's going on. Let's see what error is going to give us. Okay, something is already off. Okay, let's see the error message. Okay, so its expected environment, but it's so string. It's found string argument to this function are incorrect. And what else? Yeah. So with vectors, so let's go read about vectors. Let's go read about vectors in here. Okay. So here, this is vector. So this is just an example on how to use vector, and they give us an example here. So you have to specify the environment, because vec values can be stored as storage or as any other type vec. Search for inv. Okay, values are stored in the environment and are available to contract defined on vec. Values stored in vec are transmitted to the environment as vals. Yeah, here's just an explanation on how you can use vec. So you have to specify that it's in the environment. Yeah, it's quite an unknowing way of working with a smart contract, because when you code the conventional way, like in JavaScript, I know JavaScript is crazy as well, but when you're coding the conventional way, you don't think about environment, you don't think about that. But when you deal with Soroban, you have to specify which environment you are. When you're calling your hello, for example, a string, or when you're creating a function, you always have to put a environment as part of the parameter, but it's actually not even going to be part of the parameter, because, like, for example, here, when you look at public hello, you think there's two parameters here, but it's actually one parameter. So the environment is just there to specify that you are working in the blockchain environment. So it's something that you have to get used to, or else you get an error. Okay, let me save this. Okay. So for now, I also like, for anybody who's who's courageous, is anybody willing to share the code today? The bookstore, so we can review it together. Anybody willing to share the screen and to show this? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mukhtar.
Yeah, so that's where I was running into the errors of getting the stuff, compiling it. So I don't know whether you need all my code or just this, or yeah.
Oh. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so okay, you have the struct, and here you're implementation of the struct. You are adding the, okay, so there's a ID, there's a title, which is a string, and then there's the author is a string, and you're exporting the book itself, validate title, trim, empty, okay, untitled to string, validate, display. It looks good, huh? Looks good. But when you ran it, did you get any error as when you ran?
No, so it ran and then it output some stuff. I didn't save the output, but it did run. It did execute. It did say stuff.
Okay. Because by my eyes it looks good, but I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna run it on the machine and see how it goes. Self store. All right. Okay. Thanks. I'll go through that. And last week, I mentioned that one code, I think it's this one. Let me go back to previous class. Yeah, I showed you this code. I don't know if anyone went through this one. Did anyone try this to copy and paste this counter smart contract? Did any one of you do it? Okay. Because I wanted to see if you can figure out why is this less optimized than the idea that was shown on the documentation. Because here, this is how you use it in the documentation. So this is documentation how it's implemented. You can see here we created a variable called counter, and it's a symbol. So a symbol short. A symbol of symbol. Type symbol short. So we're taking a counter. So it's not a string, it's a symbol short. And here now we're creating our contract. This is the implementation of our contract. And it's increment, and then mute, immutable count, and we go inside the environment. We get counter. We look at counter. If counter has nothing, we put a 0. So counter will refer to, will point. It will act like a key, and it point to 0. So basically here we're using like a key that point to 0. But when you look at this code here, this code is a bit different. Here, wait. Here we do not use a symbol short, number one. We just went straight in the implementation. And we created a mutable variable of the name count. So this is the mutable count, and we first so so here this is we didn't create a count here, but we do it directly here. Wait, sorry. Let me see, let me check here. Yeah. So we didn't call any what do you call it? We didn't create any symbol short. So we call a string. So we create a string, and so the string name is count. But here this is not a string. This is a what do you call it? This is a U22. So you have a U22 here, and then we have a string. So we're getting a string, and we're using the string to act as a pointer to the 0. And note that this is it's a split string. Basically, we're using a split string, not the Rust string that you know that is in the string, and it's neither the string that we import from the Soroban SDK. So this is just the default split string. So that's how the what do you call it? The compiler will see it. So we use that string to point to something. So if it's empty, then we add a 0. The unwrap or 0 just looks at it. If it's empty, add a 0. So now we have a string that points to 0, and then here this variable count, which is a U22, is going to be adding. It's going to increase by 1, and then we go back to the storage. We take this again. We set the count to point at the new value of count. So don't confuse this count and that count. This count can be any, this is just a string. So I can have any name here and it's still going to work. So in this implementation of counter, we use a string, but here we use a symbol short. So let me just show you something. Let me just use Google search. Symbol short is 8 bits, but string, how many bits in a string? Bits in a string in Rust, in a split string in Rust. So I just want to find out how many bits in a split string. So it goes in there's a sequence of bits of some set length. I'm not getting my answer. Okay, so symbol short, we use symbol short because it has a maximum, it can hold a maximum 8 bits. Split string, okay, split string. One, two, oh, why am I not getting it? Okay, string.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get the answer. Like, how do you get how many bytes? So I'm not.
No worries.
I'm not get back to you. So in theory, the symbol short is just shorter bit, can hold shorter bit. I think it's 8, if not 4. I'm not. That's why it is more. It's more efficient to do it this way. To use a pointer, is a symbol short pointer to point at the value that you're going to be using, such as here in the counter. It's counterintuitive. I'm pretty sure it's also for you. It's very counterintuitive if you code it in other language, because when you code in other language, you can just define you can create a variable. The variable stand with something, and then you don't have to worry about anything pointing to it, or you don't have to worry about the bits, the size, and all that. And what else? Somebody wrote something. Mohammed, yes?
Yes, Ben. Can you please tell us the difference between the three file the file with 2 ml and test and library?
Sorry?
The difference between these three files, because when you create any project in Soroban, there is like 3 files.
Okay. So this file, the lib file, is where you put your contract, your main contract. So this is where it's going to be running. And if you have a test file, then you specify it here, mod test, at the end. So if you put mod test, it's automatically going to call this. And when you run cargo test, then it's going to run. It's going to be running this code here. So this code is just the test here is basically calling functions that are here. So for example, this is a hello world. You can see that there's a function called hello. And here is where you put a parameter. So we only put in one parameter here. So in the function hello, I can put like, for example, Mohammed. I can put a person's name, or I can put dev, or whatever I put here. So I put that in this function. And here you can also see that we are returning a vector. of string. So this is what we're going to be returning. And of course, here we have a vector that has the value, that is the key, sorry, it has this key. This is the key of the vector, which is a string. And then we have the value that we add on that parameter. So 2 is the value that we're going to be adding as the value on the vector. So if I, like, for example, if I was Mohammed, then it's going to be hello, Mohammed. The 2 is just going to be Mohammed. Now let's go on a test. The tests. So on the test, we first call the environment. Now we're dealing with environment, and then we're getting the contract address, and then we're getting the contract client. And then when you go down here, we take that client. So the client is basically the person who's running, the person who created that contract. And the client, we get, sorry, so where is it? Where was I? No, I'm in the wrong place, sorry. So we get the client, and then we have our contract, and then here we have client.hello. So hello is that function that we're talking about. So we got that function, that hello function. Let me just close it. It's going to confuse me. Let me close this. Okay. So you can see we have a string here. So this is the string that we put in here. So we put a string called dev. And we create a string out of it. So the 2 is a dev. And of course, we are dealing with Soroban. So you have to specify again that you are in the environment. You're in the environment. That string is in the environment. And you convert it to a string. So this is where 2 is. So it's hello 2. And then that's what we have so far. And now we're using the assert. So assert is just going to take conditions. So there's going to be 2 conditions, which is these words and the words, and then the vector should have hello and dev. If it's not the case, then you fail the test. So make sure that if I get the string from, if I use this function, I call this function, I'm going to have an answer. It's going to return a vector. So this vector must be equal to this. And it has an hello and it has a dev. If not, not pass. So this is what it's doing. So this side, this part of that is here for us to be testing that.
So Pen, in Rust we used to have one code for all the program. So why here is separate to save
Even in Rust.
memory?
Okay. Oh, yes, good question. Here, you don't even have to have tests. Like when you test, it's just there to test the code. Just so you know. But you can have many different files. You can have many different files. Like if you want to separate, if you a lot of code, and you want to separate functions and implementations, you can use different code, and you just and I'll show you how you do that. But you can have different codes, different files, sorry, that you use in the same program, and they all have they're gonna have different functions, and they're all gonna have different implementation, and so on and so forth. So you can indeed do that as well with Rust. You can also do that with Rust. You don't necessarily have to have one file.
Okay, and last thing, what about the 2ML
2ML.
file?
So we have the hello, we have the source. Oh, the cargo. Okay. So this is you setting the workspace. So it happens automatically when you, by default, when you're creating a smart contract. So it's going to show something
So
like that.
no need to modify it or add anything, just
Yeah, you don't have to
keep it
modify
as
it,
okay.
but you can, if you want, you can modify it depending on what. But by default, what this is saying is you can add as many projects under this contract. So, like for example, we created a hello world, and then in the same folder you can create another project called increment. In the same folder you can create something else. So this is what it's telling the compiler. So it's up to you, and it's telling a lot of things here, like the dependencies. So you don't have this you don't touch, you just leave it like that, because this tells you which dependency are you working. So if you're working with 23, you can just change it to 23 or whatever number that you want. And here, and this part here, you also don't touch this. This you can just leave it the way it is. And another thing that you also have to know is, after compiling the project, you go to target and you go to release. No, sorry, not, where is it? WASM. Okay, sorry, this side. You go to WASM and then release. Target, WASM, unknown, and then you go to release. And you're going to see this, like hello world.wasm. So these are what you're going to actually be deploying to the blockchain. And it's also what you're going to be using if you want to connect your smart contract to the front end. If you want to add front end capabilities, you're gonna have to export this. You're gonna have to use that on your application. So you're not gonna be calling it from like the source. You're not gonna be calling things from the source. So this should be like dead. You're using this in your project. Yeah, so that's it for today. Tomorrow, the plan is, I'm not gonna give you new things. We're gonna first work with what we've done so far, and especially Rust, because I can't stress enough that we have to be very comfortable with Rust. You have to be very comfortable, and this is going to help you. Just 2 hours. I don't know how long it's gonna take you for you to finish this 2-hour course, but a lot of things that are here, you've already done that. So it's not going to be very difficult for you. You'll be basically refreshing your mind. Let me just have a look in the syllabus. See there's a Rust intro, data type, the control flow, we did that. Ownership, we did that. Error handling, module, we did a little bit of module. So there's only 4 lessons here. And there's generic type and trait. And this we did not do async wait. So yeah, this will be something for you to you learn, because async wait is very important when it comes to blockchain, because we have to, sometimes blockchain is slow and we have to have a function that waits for everything to be loaded before we can act. So yep, that's what we're going to be doing. And during the week, I'm available for anyone, like 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Thursday, I won't be available. Thursday and Friday, I won't be available. But Saturday, the whole day, I'm not be at home. So I'm gonna be resting on Sunday. So Saturday, if you have any question, you can hit me up. And that's
Cool. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
We'll give you a shout.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate your help.
Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.
Cool. Well, enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Thanks, Abe. Bye.
Bye.